Hi, this is Dr. James Reed, chiropractic physician and certified functional medicine practitioner. Today we're going to talk about your liver. Now, most people don't realize that your liver is actually involved somewhere between 5 to maybe 600 different chemical reactions in your body, which is utterly amazing. And it has such wide impact on your health. And people do not really think about the liver. Oftentimes you just think of it as, isn't that where your toxins go and your body breaks things down? Yes, very, very true. As a matter of fact, everything that you eat has to pass through into the liver. And the liver actually will take a look at your foods and analyze them in a sense. And it also has an important part of the immune system actually embedded in your liver. And they're called Kupffer cells. And these cells actually will take a look at all the different foods that have come from your digestive tract and do a bit of an analysis and send appropriate signals to your immune system and other parts of your body. And most people don't even realize that that's what's going on. So yes, it processes toxins, talks to your immune system. It produces bile, which is another way of removing toxins in the body, but also an important part of your digestive system as well too. Not only is it part of the immune system, detoxifying your digestive system, but it also regulates and influences your hormones and how they're broken down and utilized. It balances your blood sugar, very, very important. It's a storage of many of your starches and so on, which are converted into glucose or blood sugar later on. It is also recycles your iron and your red blood cells. It also produces many different proteins that are important in balancing osmotic pressure. And also some of these proteins transport all your different hormones and toxins and other chemicals in your body. So really you could take a look. The liver just does so many different things, and we don't take account of the importance of our liver. As a matter of fact, what we're finding, these days, it's becoming very epidemic, is non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And it is spreading like crazy. More and more people are beginning to realize that they have this. And those are the first signs that you're beginning to develop many problems with the liver. So we're going to go ahead and delve into some of that and explore some of these different issues going on with the liver, and also some of the different symptoms and signs that you should be aware of that your liver may be struggling. At this point, I wanted to go ahead and point out some different signs and symptoms that might indicate that your liver is beginning to struggle. And there's actually quite a few. But, one of the things that people will always mention is like, I have these dark circles under my eyes, or it becomes puffy around your eyes. You can have like itchy feet or hands over a long period of time. What they're also noticed too is that you have pink or red patchy little rash here on your hand. That can be a sign that you're having some liver problems, and it's called palmar erythema. Dandruff can be a sign that there's poor liver function. Certainly what we find too, especially in the spring or fall, people have a lot of allergic reactions. Well, guess what? Your liver is involved with a lot of allergy problems and has to break down these toxins. And again, part of your immune system is found in the liver. So yeah, if you have a tendency to have allergic reactions, that could be another sign that you got a problem with your liver. All right, who would know, right? A lot of times when they're little red bumps or like chicken type of skin, that can indicate that you're not having proper levels of vitamin A or E and so on. That could be also a problem indicating that there's an issue with your liver, all right? Also, if you get like these purple spots, okay, on your arms, or little patches that looks like blood clots, they call it ecchymosis, that can also be a sign that there's a problem with blood clotting, okay? And that can be an issue indicating some problems with the liver. Also, if you have yellowish deposits here on the eye, that can be a sign that there's some, fatty deposits there. And again, that could be a sign of liver issues. Poor thyroid balance can also be a sign of poor liver function. If you have increased premenstrual syndrome types of problems, that can also be another indicator of liver problems. Weight gain around your waist, yes. Having low libido, because again, the liver does balance your hormones. And you can't, when we're trying to go ahead and do hormone replacement, you have to consider liver issues. And that is, to me, what I've found really highly ignored. Also, if you have a tendency for autoimmune problems, okay, that can be another sign that there's an issue here with the liver. Rosacea, psoriasis, those can also be, signs of a liver problem, and of course, a little bit with an autoimmune problem. If you easily get, bloated, okay, when you're trying to digest your foods, that can be another sign that you're having liver issues as well. Here are some more further signs that you might have a liver problem. Again, I just want to reiterate, your liver is so important. It's involved with so many different reactions in your body. And I think just bringing these symptoms up and signs, to you, it just makes you a little bit more aware of what's going on. But actually pale, light-colored stools that might float, that could be an indication of, poor liver function. Again, if you easily bruise or bleed, that can be another sign of liver. Mood swings and feeling impatient can be a sign of liver problems. If you get overheated very quickly, that can be a problem. Or if you chronically get cold or chilled. Nausea, vomiting, of course, a lot of people, jaundice, okay? You get the yellowish color of the skin and the eyes. Chronic fatigue. Further on, as it gets worse, you get ascites, okay, where you get swelling here in the abdomen. Swollen ankles and feet can also be a problem. Darkened urine, that's a bad sign, okay, if you have a lot of darkened urine. And also there's a type of also breath that a patient will develop if they have some more severe liver issues. It's actually kind of like a fruity, musky type of breath and even urine odor. And that's a bad sign of some serious liver problems. So I think we've covered a lot of these signs and symptoms. There are different levels of, liver problems. So, keep that in mind. You don't have to have all these. Sometimes just a few of them, can be, signs that your body's trying to tell you, hey, there's something wrong here with your liver. So now that we went through some of the signs and symptoms of liver problems, I want to go ahead and discuss some of the major factors that can lead to liver problems. Well, first off, 1 out of 10 Americans are usually affected by liver disease of some kind. But what is, some of the main factors that seem to be contributing to some of the liver problems here in America would be, well, alcoholism. I think most everybody recognizes that. But also drug abuse. Diabetes is a huge thing as well. Well, exposure to different chemicals and toxins, and we had discussed that in a previous video and also in a newsletter, and how we get exposed to so many chemicals and toxins, in our food, our air, our water, and they just seem to be increasing all the time. You hear news reports about, chemical releases and so on. So yes, your liver has to deal with all those at some particular level. Some other things, tattoos and or body piercings, okay? They can introduce, chemicals or infections that can affect the liver. Unprotected sex and obesity is a huge thing that can also affect the liver. So those are some of the main things that seem to have a huge impact on liver function and why it's becoming such a particular problem here in the United States. Well, speaking of maybe drugs and so on, and Tylenol, all right, it's a drug. Most people don't realize that, because it's just over the counter, that it's safe. Well, I hate to say that one of the major causes of acute liver failure or disease is actually over usage of Tylenol. I'm saying Tylenol is bad, but yeah, too much of something is no good. All right. And of course, this is where sometimes we'll go ahead and use, or I should say, the medical profession will use NAC or N-acetylcysteine as one of the compounds to fend off and try to correct damage that might be caused by excessive Tylenol. So kind of an interesting thing about NAC. So now we're going to go ahead and just discuss some of the more chronic liver problems that may be occurring. I know we just mentioned about acute liver problems, and of course that was with, exposure to Tylenol and different drugs and so on. But you didn't realize that actually here in the United States, 1 out of 3 adults and 1 out of 10 children in the United States has some sort of, chronic liver problem. And the most common one is non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So what's this characterized by? Well, a lot of times you're totally unaware of it. You're usually symptom-free, but technically it is characterized by a 5 to 10% accumulation of fat, okay, in the liver. And the liver cells actually begin to kind of cause some changes in liver functionality. And a lot of times, like I said, you may not be aware of it until you do a blood test or they do like an ultrasound, okay, on you. But it is characterized a lot of times by elevated cholesterol and triglycerides, so some of the different fats. There could be an elevation of blood sugar, possibility, the beginnings of an increase in some of your liver enzymes, particularly what they call ALT. So at this point too, there might be a slight enlargement here of the liver. So that was non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Now, there's a further progression of NAFLD. The acronym for the next one is called NASH. That's non-alcoholic steatohepatitis. Now, again, like I said, this is probably a further progression of just the fatty liver disease. Now, at this particular time with NASH, you probably have about a 20 to 25% increase, okay, of fat accumulated in the liver. And at this point in time, too, people will start to notice, some discomfort maybe here in the right upper abdomen or in the right middle back. But by this time, too, there's definitely significant increase in some of the liver enzymes at this point. And I'll mention a few of them. I know they're acronyms and people will be scratching their head and saying, I have no idea what you're talking about, but have a blood test, all right? So there could be elevations of ALT, AST, GGT, some other ones like alkaline phosphatase, C-reactive protein. These elevations are something not to be ignored, okay? So again, it could be an indication of liver problems. At this point too, when you have NASH, the liver is more inflamed, more swollen. There's also the beginnings of some scar tissue that's going to take place throughout the liver. And some of these, liver cells are actually replaced by scar tissue. Not a good thing, which will lead to the next type of liver problem in just a moment. But get a blood test. Have your liver evaluated. Another very interesting thing to evaluate the status of your liver is a newer sound type of technology called a FibroScan. You can also do an MRI, a CT scan, obviously a biopsy, which is a lot more invasive, but certainly, have a blood evaluation. I mean, we do, run these blood tests at our particular office. We could probably try to direct you to some place where you can have some of this ultrasound evaluation that can be done, or MRI or CAT scan as well, too, to take a look at the status of your liver. Because again, take care of your liver. It's very, very important. So the last more common type of liver problem, and I think most everybody's heard of this, is liver cirrhosis. Well, this is where there's very extensive cellular damage in your liver, and there's severe functional damage to the liver as well, too. And it's crazy, but 1 out of 400 adults in the U.S. probably has some form of liver cirrhosis. And again, a lot of times these particular types of problems with the liver, or I should say specifically more with liver cirrhosis, can be, a viral problem, like a viral hepatitis, chronic drug and alcohol abuse, diabetes, and obesity. So that kind of wraps up more of the common type of ones. I know there's so many other types of liver problems. I'm not trying to ignore them or belittle them, but there's autoimmune, there's genetic ones, there's infectious ones, and of course there's liver cancer as well too, and several different forms of it. But we're not going to go ahead and elaborate on those particular liver issues. But again, take care of your liver. So, we have discussed some of the different types of liver problems. And also we mentioned some of the signs and symptoms. So, all right, Dr. Reed, what do I do about this? Well, one of the main things, as we mentioned to you before, one of the contributing factors is weight. So losing weight is a very, very important thing in helping to stave off the liver problems, or go ahead and, if you do have one, see what can be done to help to regenerate the liver. The other thing too is, in addition to obesity, is blood sugar imbalances. So if you have a tendency to have insulin resistance, or if you have diabetes, trying to go ahead and address those issues are important. And of course, one of the main things is, our diet. Okay, now I'm not saying that that's the only thing to take care of diabetes. We'll, discuss some of those other types of things that can be done in some other, video and newsletters. But for now, yes, avoiding refined carbohydrates, sugars. Hey, stop drinking, soda that contains, high fructose corn syrup. I mean, those are some really basic things. Actually eat real food, okay? That's a very important thing that you have to address. One other thing too that can help you to stave off, or again, help your liver, is balance your microbiome. Yes, okay. We've talked about the microbiome in some prior videos and also newsletters, but yes, getting rid of the leaky gut and balancing the bacteria and also other, I should say, biotic or other types of microorganisms that are found in your gut is extremely important. So if you want to go ahead and see what you can do diet-wise, I'm going to kind of reference you back to our website, because we do have a diet here that, it's a truly gluten-free diet or an anti-inflammatory diet that would probably give you some good basic guidelines that you can utilize to help in rehabbing your liver. And, diet is extremely important. I don't want to just rely on, supplementation, but we'll get to that in a moment. But there are a few other foods here that I wanted to mention that you should probably avoid because they can actually contribute to, liver issues. But using a lot of, polyunsaturated vegetable and grain oils, such as, cottonseed, canola, and corn oil, they potentially have a lot of problems because they're very oxidizing, and a lot of times they are actually GMO, okay, or genetically modified organisms, or they're derived from them. So that would be something to go ahead and avoid. There's also some suspicion off of actually soy protein isolates, and those things can actually be found in a lot of snacks, protein bars, some vegetable or plant-based burgers and other products. It sounds like, hey, I'm eating something good. Well, a lot of times these are highly processed. A lot of soy is GMO, and sometimes, there can be actually, they're beginning to find that there could be some residues of hexane, which might be found in these products. Now, hexane is actually used to extract and isolate these particular types of proteins from soy. Interesting. The other thing too is like actually certain whey protein powders, if they're processed and if you're not accompanied by regular exercise, that can be a problem. Okay, so we have a lot of these shakes that use whey. Now, whey can be good, all right, if it's organic, if it's unprocessed. It can actually help to increase your antioxidant levels or glutathione levels. So a lot of times if you have a good product that is used for detoxification, having the unprocessed organic whey protein is something that is actually beneficial, whereas the processed whey, not good, okay? One other thing you should watch out for is maltodextrin, which is found in so many different things. It's used as a thickener, as kind of like a sugar substitute, and also as a filler, but this can also affect your blood sugar. It can affect your microbiome, and a lot of times this is also GMO derived. Another thing too, and maybe doesn't occur so much in our country, but the storage of like peanuts and some other grains, they can be contaminated with actually a toxin for molds. It's called aflatoxins, and we do know that aflatoxin poisoning can very much damage your liver. So how much you get from your foods supply, kind of questionable, but just something for you to be aware of. Another thing is MSG, okay, monosodium glutamate, which is like a flavor enhancer. This can be found like a lot of times. I know it's classically in Chinese foods, but I don't want to point that out. But you might be surprised looking at some of your different snack products, how many times they put MSG in as a flavor enhancer. That can also cause some problems, with your liver. We're going to go ahead and talk about the carbohydrates and sugars and so on, and get back to that and how that can impact the liver. Well, to begin with, when you do consume a fair amount of that, it will have a tendency to encourage the growth of candida, all right, which is actually a yeast organism that's normally found in your gut. Now, to have a certain amount is fine and healthy. An excessive amount is not good. And they actually find that some of the components and enzymes released by candida can lead to a leaky gut and an inflammatory response throughout the body, including the liver. One other thing too, by eating that way, it also can encourage the overgrowth of certain bacterium. And it can actually cause the leaky gut. Again, some of the byproducts that the bacteria produce can cause inflammation throughout the body. One of which is called lipopolysaccharides. And just kind of interesting thing too is they're finding that some of these compounds can begin to not only elicit inflammation throughout the body and in the liver, but maybe one of the contributing factors to osteoarthritis, okay? So your arthritis, okay, may actually be coming from your gut. So just kind of an interesting thing. So yes, your diet is actually very, very important in maintaining the health of your body and your liver. I know we discussed diet and how it can impact your health and affect your liver. Now, I want to kind of leave this to last because I don't like people relying just exclusively on herbs and supplements. But, if you do have a problem, they can be a big adjunct to trying to help you recover and so on. So it should be just all part of your armament is, your diet, herbals and supplements. I just want to get away from the mentality of, hey, take this pill for that pill for this, all right? So just kind of keep that in mind. And what's kind of interesting, some of these herbs and supplements are actually foods, okay? So here we go again. I mean, there's this blending that can take place. So let's go through a list of some of the things that have been found to actually help in maintaining the health of your liver or improving the health of your liver. So how about artichoke? Yes, okay. So artichoke is actually very important. Bergamot. And of course, most everybody has heard of milk thistle, okay? That's extremely important. Green tea. How about turmeric and or actually curcumin, all right? These are important antioxidants and, of course, curcumin comes from turmeric. Dandelion root, okay? So dandelion root tea, for example. Burdock root, ginger, garlic. How about beets and beet greens can help out? There's actually a berry that's popular in Chinese medicine called schisandra. And, we have that here at our office. Rosemary extract can also be another important thing. So to continue on here, another Chinese herb here would be danshen. I also want to mention about cruciferous vegetables, okay? So important, for proper functioning of the liver. And I'm not going to get into the different phases and so on, but we'll leave that for another video. But let's keep it simple here. So we're going to go ahead and mention some of the cruciferous vegetables. And I think most everybody says, broccoli. Yes, that's good. But there's many more. There's arugula, there's bok choy, there's Brussels sprouts, there's cabbage, cauliflower, collard greens, horseradish, kale, radishes, rutabaga, spinach, turnips, watercress, and wasabi. So the true wasabi. So we just want to go ahead and mention those things. Some other things too that are important is choline, okay? That's a very, very important compound too. How about eggs? Having good organic eggs. They contain a lot of great nutrients that can help your liver. Fish oils, okay? So getting some good fish oils are important. Some minerals that can be very helpful for the liver is selenium, molybdenum, zinc. I know we mentioned earlier with acute liver failure, N-acetylcysteine, okay, or NAC, very important antioxidant. How about additional glutathione, vitamins B, C, D, and E, and also probiotics. So I know that's not a complete list of everything, but I think you want to go ahead. I wanted to give you some general idea as to some of the things that you can also go ahead and take on an herbal or food basis or supplement basis that could help out your liver. So let's go ahead and kind of wrap this up. So basically what we want to try to do here to help your liver is make sure your diet is non-inflammatory, probably richer in organic foods where you're not being exposed to as many toxins. You should also, consider your water sources as well too. Also, you want to, eat foods that are as non-processed, contains, minimal toxins. And you also want to build up a healthy lining of your intestines, so avoid a leaky gut, use the proper probiotics, so that can lead to a healthier liver. Now, I wanted to mention that we do have a lot of testing available here to evaluate the liver, all right? I also wanted to mention too, we have a number of these different types of herbs and supplements available here at our office. If you're looking for a good like whey protein that's unprocessed and organic, we also have that available here at our office as well too. So there are different things that we can utilize here at our particular office to help identify some issues with the liver. But like I said, if you need to go a FibroScan and these other things, we can refer you out. And also, yes, the blood tests, okay, very important here. And we can order those at our office as well. Once again, this is Dr. James Reed, chiropractic physician and certified functional medicine practitioner. If you want any further information, you can go ahead and look at our website at azfamilyhealthcenter.com. That's CENTRE.com. And if you'd like to go ahead and make an appointment, please call my number at 480-732-0911. One of my staff members will be happy to help you. And again, I want to thank you for watching the video. I hope there's a lot of good information that you can use, and make sure you keep your liver healthy.